it's Abdul. Welcome to this video all about spreadsheet note-taking. Sounds a bit weird, so bear with me. Now, a common question I get from a lot of people and a lot of mentees is, what's your note-taking method? We're going through 4,000 questions in your world. How do you retain that information, and what do you use to make notes? Now, before I tell you what I do want to start with a very cheeky disclaimer. This is what worked for me. For a lot of people, this will sound completely absurd, and I respect that. Every person is different. I dabbled in a lot of different note-taking techniques, but this is what I settled for step 1, and then I just really perfected it in step 2, and I would die on this hill. So this is what I did. Again, it's not necessarily the best thing you could do, or the best thing you should do, or even the best thing I would recommend for you to do, but this is what I do think is a very useful technique. So what did I use to make notes? I used my trusty spreadsheet. This is how it looks like. It's structured in this similar way, and it was the same structure for step 1. You'll have the question ID on the left with various colors based on the Skittles approach to review. If you have no idea what that means, I would recommend you to watch the Skittles approach to review video. Then you have the columns system, category, and topics. This is just basically tagging information from UWorld itself, which was very important because it allows me to search for information and also structure my review. And then you have probably the most important slide, the learning objective. Like I said previously, every single question in UWorld has a central learning objective, which is testable in step 2, and this is where it lies. I would find the learning objective from UWorld, I'll plug it right back in there, and I would bold the relevant terms that came up in that specific question. I'd also have a column for extra notes. This is for extra information I wanted to add, maybe auxiliary information from that question that I found useful for the future, or maybe some little tips for future me when it came to reviewing to differentiate between any struggling pathologies that I was weak at. Now, the rationale behind this system is, number 1, I really wanted it to be retrievable and searchable. I knew that I would be relying on this resource not only to understand, but also during my phase 2 and my phase 3, and even later on. It has become such an important part of my mentorship. I could immediately find the question ID and understand what was my thought process when I solved this question, and I can immediately remember what the answer is. So it being very retrievable and searchable was amazing. Another important factor of the system was that it was very UWorld oriented. I made it very, very clear from the beginning, I did not want to do more than one pass of UWorld, so I wanted to make the most out of my UWorld, and it being very UWorld oriented, focused on learning objectives, made it a very, very useful tool. Another very beneficial advantage of using the system was that it forces you to focus on the review. Now, my spreadsheets are available for my mentees as part of the packages I provide, but I still do recommend that if you are early in your journey and you have the time, to do it yourself. The main reason for that is because the active process of making your own spreadsheet will force you to focus on the review process, which is the most important thing. It will force you to do the Skittles approach because you will be thinking actively, what is the right color flag for this particular question? And I think it just has so much potential that allows you to make the most out of your UWorld. And like I said, it was very useful in phase 2 and phase 3. For example, I was doing a bunch of MBMEs and a bunch of CMS forms, and I kept messing up on brain tumors. I've been messing up on them since step 1, and step 2 was not any different. So I was like, you know what, this is enough's enough, time to review that topic. So all I did was search for the tag. And you can see right there, we have everything I need to know. Every single question in UWorld that was about brain tumors was right in front of my face. So in order to review, again, it was just a matter of reading every single learning objective, focusing on what went wrong, and moving on. And the whole process took me like 10 to 15 minutes, and it was something I was continuously doing as I was going through phase 2, whenever I found a little knowledge gap or an area of weakness. So like I said, it makes reviewing so easy and so smooth. And I really loved it. So to answer what's the best note-taking method, again, it really depends on you. I really loved my spreadsheet approach, but again, you just want to do something that will be the most efficient usage of your time. Again, you really don't want to invest in a note-taking method that will prevent you from doing the most amount of questions per day, or or decreasing the amount of time you can spend on high-quality reviews. And that's it for my spreadsheet. See you in the next one. Cheers.